A very good morning to you all children. In our last class, we discussed about the characteristics of living things. So today, we are going to classify the living things. So classification of living things is of two types, that is for classification of plants and classification of animals. Today, we are going to discuss about the classification of plants. So the first one is on the basis of their height, size and shape. Children, you have learnt in your earlier classes about the herbs, shrubs and trees, right? So on the basis of their height, size and shape, they are divided into three categories, that is herbs, shrubs and trees. So here you can see the pictures of three different plants where the banana is an example of a herb, a tree and then the China rose, which is an example of a shrub. So we know that herbs are very small plants and most flowering plants are herbs and they will be very few centimeters long and they live for 1 or 2 seasons. Then they have soft and green stem. Coming to the shrubs, they have bushy appearance and their height will be up to 6 meters long and they live for a few years, right? This is what you have learned. And coming to the trees, and they have strong and woody stem. Coming to the trees live for many years and they have the branches which gives the flowers, the fruits and all, right? And then they have a strong woody stem which is called as a trunk and their roots are very deep. So this is about the plants, that is on the basis of their height, shape and size. Okay children. So examples of the herbs are tulsi, then even banana. Banana is also an example of a herb. Tomato, mint. An example of trees, mango, neem, guava, then papaya. Yes, so all these are examples of the trees. Then coming to the shrubs examples are China rose, mehendi, bougainvillea, etc. Right? Now coming to the second classification, that is classification of the plants on the basis of their lifespan. So on the basis of lifespan, we know what is meaning of lifespan, that is how much years they live. So on the basis of their lifespan, the plants are divided as annuals, biennials and perennials. So annuals are the plants which live or which survive only for one season. So they survive only for one season, and many seasonal flowers like plants, vegetables, even crops. So crops are like wheat, paddy, rice. So here you can see the picture of a rice plant. Okay, so they are all the crops. They live or they survive only for one season. Okay children, and these are all examples of the annual plants. The second one, what you can see here, that is they are the examples of biennials. So these plants live for 2 seasons. So they live for 2 seasons, and in the first year they have the vegetative growth. Just they grow in the first year, and in the second year they start bearing the flowers and the fruits. Okay, so the examples of these biennials are carrot, radish, turnip, examples. Okay, all these are the other examples. So here you can see the picture of a radish. So this is an example of a biennials. And coming to perennials, perennials are the plants which live for many years. Okay, so they live for many years, and in that many years what they do is they produce the flowers and fruits many times. They produce flowers and fruits many times in their lifespan or the lifetime. So examples of this perennials are mango, guava, neem, etc. So almost you can say the trees, they all come under the perennials. So on the basis of lifespan, the plants are divided into annuals, biennials and perennials. Now coming to the third classification, that is on the basis of their flowers. So we know that all plants will not have a flowers. There are some plants which bear flowers and there are some plants which do not bear the flowers. The plants which bear the flowers are called as flowering plants. Okay, an example of these flowering plants are many, like mango, neem, rose. Here I have kept you the rose plant which bears the flowers, and sunflower, then even grass. Grass also will be having the flowers. The white color small flowers will come for the grass. That is nothing but the flowers. So the plants which bear the flowers, they are all called as flowering plants. The second picture what you can see is an example of a non-flowering plant. So what are non-flowering plants, children? The plants which do not bear the flowers. The plants which do not bear the flowers, they are called as non-flowering plants. So examples of this non-flowering plants are algae. So here what you can see the picture, this is nothing but the algae. So algae, then even mosses, ferns, mushrooms, etc. So all these, even some ornamental plants also, they don't have the flowers. Okay, you can see the leaves which are very beautiful, but they don't bear the flowers. So those are all the examples of the non-flowering plants. This is a third classification, children. Coming to the fourth one, classification on their basis of their habitat. So you have learned in your earlier classes what is the meaning of a habitat. So habitat is a place where a living thing lives most comfortably. So in this habitat, you have learned about the terrestrial and aquatic plants. You know what are terrestrial plants? Terrestrial plants are the plants which live on the land, and aquatic plants are the plants which live in water. Okay, so on the basis of habitat, that is either terrestrial or aquatic, they are classified into three different types, that is mesophytes, xerophytes and hydrophytes. So mesophytes are the plants which live on the land. Okay, and they need moderate amount of water. So here you can see the third picture, children, where they come under the mesophytes, that is which require moderate amount of water for their survival, and they have medium sized roots and bear normal growth of the leaves. The leaves will be normal and the roots will be of medium sized. So some of the examples of these are the mango tree, apple tree, then even all these flowering, the chameli, champa, rose plants, all these are the examples of the mesophytes. Now coming to the xerophytes. So xerophytes are the plants that grow in desert. Xero means desert. Okay, so here in the second picture you can see the cactus, children, the cactus plant which grow in the desert, and these plants need very small amount of water, even very less when compared to that of the mesophytes. So they need very small amount of water for the survival, and they have long roots, children. They have long roots which go deep into the ground. Okay, they have long roots which grow deep into the ground, and they bear the leaves and which are spiny. I think you can see the spines, children. Yes, so the cactus, even aloe vera and all, they have the spines. The spines you call it as mullu in Telugu, right? So they have the spines which help them to minimize their water loss. So the water loss gets minimized, and even it prevents those plants from the grazing of animals. Okay, so they need very less amount of water. So xerophytes are the plants, children, which grow in the deserts, which need very less amount of water, but they grow, the roots grow deep into the soil, and they have the spines which will prevent from the loss of water and also from the grazing of animals. Now coming to the third one, that is hydrophytes. Hydro means water. So these plants need maximum amount of water. So here you can see the picture of a lotus, children. The first picture which is showing the lotus. So they grow completely in the water. So that is why they need maximum amount of water. So they have either very small roots. They may have very small roots or no roots at all, but they bear the leaves coated with, you can see the leaves of the lotus plant there. The leaves will be coated with a very thin film, like a film. If you touch the lotus leaf, no, it will be like very silky, just like a film. Some paper has cover is there on that, like that we feel it. Okay, so this film helps to protect them in water. So it does not help them to get rotten, as it is spending lot of time, completely it is living in water. So it will not make the leaf to become rotten. So that is why it is bearing a very thin film, and this film will be helping to protect them in water. So examples of this hydrophytes are lotus, water lily, okay, etc. Is it clear, children? Yeah. Coming to the last one, that is on the basis of their nutrition. So on the basis of nutrition, the plants are divided into autotrophs and heterotrophs. So in the first lesson, we discussed about autotrophs and heterotrophs. Autotrophs are the plants which can prepare their own food, and heterotrophs are the plants which depends on other plants for their food. So under heterotrophs, again we have two different types, that is saprophytes and parasites. So what are saprophytes? Saprophytes are the plants which feed on dead and decaying bodies. So they feed on dead and decaying bodies of the other plants. So those are called as saprophytes. The examples of the saprophytes are mushroom and fungus. So here in the second picture, you can see the mushroom, children. So which is an example of a saprophyte. So saprophytes are the plants which feed on dead and decaying bodies. Examples are mushroom and fungus. The first picture, children, that is an example of a parasite. So under heterotrophs, we have two different types, that is saprophytes and parasites. So saprophytes are the plants which feed on dead and decaying bodies. Then what about parasites? Parasites are the plants that feed on other living bodies. Okay, they live on other organisms, other bodies, and it acts like a host. Okay, the plant which is giving this one, that will become a host, and this parasites, they become the guest on that, children. So they live or they feed on other living bodies. Examples are dodder, amarbel and orchids. So here you can see the examples. These are nothing but the dodders. Okay, so they live on other bodies and they derive the food from them. So such plants are called as parasites. Did you understand, children? So on the basis of the nutrition, the plants are divided into autotrophs and heterotrophs. Autotrophs are the plants which can prepare their own food, and heterotrophs are the plants which depend on other bodies, other plants for their food. So under heterotrophs, again we have two, saprophytes and parasites. Saprophytes are the plants which feed on dead and decaying bodies, and parasites are the plants which feed on other living bodies by living on that particular plant. Okay, children. So this is about the classification of plants on their different basis, that is on the basis of their lifespan, on the basis of their habitat, on the basis of their height, size and shape, on the basis of their flowers, and on the basis of their nutrition. So read the textbook, children, for your better understanding. Thank you. Have a great day.